Just wanted to talk, that's all.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Well, we found out today some news that I'm a little bit concerned with, that the Yankees should be very concerned with, and that is that Anthony Volpe has a torn labrum. And there's a few reasons why this is bad, and I'll try and get to as many of them as I can. One, the Yankees just can't diagnose an injury to save their life. They just can't. You know, Clint Frazier with his concussions, they killed his career. Luis Severino and his shoulder, that was mishandled. I mean, Greg Bird and his feet. How many different injuries have they screwed up over the years? Carl Pavano, Jacoby Ellsbury, pick your punchline with those guys. And now, Anthony Volpe with a small labrum tear that has apparently been lingering since early May, and they kept running him out there. This is not a bruise. This is not soreness. This is a labrum. It doesn't just get better. And I know this because I lived it. I tore my labrum in 2008, and it never stopped hurting. It hurts to this day. Greg Bird also tore his labrum. Miguel Andujar tore his labrum. It took years for Andujar to be able to hit again, and Greg Bird was never the same. He also had the feet injury. He had a lot of problems. But Andujar took a while for him to, really become a dangerous hitter again. He had a good year this year. But, maybe this is part of what explains why Volpe has looked awful this year. And here's the part that gets me. They don't have a backup plan. Well, they have Caballero now, but they didn't have anybody months ago. No insurance policy. Nobody at AAA waiting. No real roster construction to cover it. What if it was a worse tear and he had to have surgery? Where do you go? I mean, that's roster construction. That's just Cashman's roster construction. And now the Yankees are kind of boxed into a corner. Because do you give him the surgery after the season? Or do you try and rehab it? Right? Do you go into next season, right, thinking, well, he was just hurt last year. Maybe he'll feel better. Maybe he'll play better. I feel like they tried that with DJ LeMahieu and his feet. Another thing they screwed up. Or do you admit the obvious? The kid needs surgery. He's not going to be right for a long time. And you go get a shortstop. Even if it's a stopgap guy until Lombard's ready. Well, Lombard didn't exactly tear the cover off the ball this year, so I wouldn't count on that being next year. Maybe the year after. These are not small questions. These are franchise-shaping issues that the Yankees are dealing with. If he has surgery on his labrum, you're talking 6 to 9 months maybe. And if he doesn't get the surgery, is he going to feel pain in every swing? Now, this is not his throwing arm. His throwing arm is fine. It's his left shoulder. But as a hitter, as a right-handed hitter, that's his lead shoulder. And, imagine you swing and every time you extend that shoulder, right? It's a painful, painful injury. And there's no doubt it's affected his performance. Now that we know this, I don't want to make excuses for the kid, but to expect him to be playing better with a torn labrum, this is a bad injury. Most of the time, it requires a procedure. When I had my injury, and mine was in my throwing arm, I had taken a year off with shoulder pain, and I came back, and it hurt again, and I couldn't believe it. And so I went to the doctor, and they put me in the MRI tube, and afterwards, they said, guys will take 10 years off from throwing with shoulder pain, and then they try and throw with their kid, and the shoulder pain comes back because the labrum doesn't heal like that. It's not like a pulled muscle. It stays painful, and you really only feel it when you're doing the activity that hurts it, right? If he feels this when he swings, and the injury happened in the field, so maybe it's just an awkward movement that he doesn't have to encounter very much, but you would think that as much torque as a major league hitter has to put into his shoulder to swing, he has to feel it, right? Every swing. If your shoulder's barking, even if you have a cortisone shot or you take some medicine or whatever, you're still thinking about it on every swing, even if it's like in the back of your mind subconsciously a little bit. I would feel it when I would throw. Right, the arm would feel fine until like 95% of the way through the throw. It was the slowing down of the arm that really hurt. And I'm telling you, it affects everything. You know, it affected my sleep. I couldn't lift a milk jug out of the fridge. So, how will the Yankees handle this? Will they get him the surgery? Will they just try and rehab it during the winter and hope he comes back magically feeling better in March? I don't know. Or will they address shortstop in the offseason? And, he's on my list of guys. So let's take a look at the candidates to not be back next year. Volpe and Wells have underperformed, no doubt. They are on my list of guys who might not be back next year. And we'll release the official prediction for 5 Yankees, plus a couple of honorable mentions that won't be back after the season. But this is not good. Not good. Folklore says, having had a torn labrum and had surgery, it actually is usable, but only gets worse over time. Beers and Frontiers wants him to have the surgery now. I agree. I think you got to get it done. Dom D says, time to move on. And worth noting that Volpe's out of the lineup for the second straight day. Beers also says, doesn't explain his defense. Maybe it does. Honestly, when you have a torn labrum, any kind of movement, right, could trigger it. Like, you can feel it randomly. I would feel it when I would sleep. Like I said, when I would go to pull the milk jug out of the fridge, I would feel it there. I would feel it when I would throw. So you never know. You can't get inside, but maybe it does affect his fielding. We don't know. We simply do not know. Lori C says now we'll be stuck with him next season, too. Rough crowd, these Yankees fans. Let me take a quick 60-second break to check the news here, and I'm going to run a quick Omaha Steaks ad, and then we'll be back to talk more about Anthony Volpe and his labrum tear in just a minute.
We are longtime fans of Omaha Steaks, and I am drooling looking at the website right now, featuring USDA certified tender steaks, and also during their Red Hot Sale event going on right now this fall, 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com, plus for the FT fam, an extra $35 off with promo code FOUL at checkout. You've been a big fan of Omaha Steaks since your early days as a pro.
Brings me back to my low A-ball days, because we used to survive on this. We get a big order at the beginning of the year, cook them on our little electric grill, can of peas, some mac and cheese. That was dinner for 4. We survived off Omaha Steaks. It still has a special place in my heart.
You thrived.
Well,
you guys ate like kings.
Yeah.
That's special. Get fired up for fall grilling with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Red Hot Sale event, and for an extra $35 off, promo code FOUL at checkout. 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code FOUL at checkout. See site for details. Dig in.
Lori C says, for real, Omaha Steaks are good. They're really good. I've had them before. All right, so we've got Aaron Boone right here saying that he doesn't think that the labrum injury has been a major factor in Volpe's performance, which I just flat out reject. I mean, without being in the guy's body and knowing what he feels, I can confidently reject that it has not affected his performance. This is the same manager who will tell you when Giancarlo Stanton has a hangnail that he's a race car and everything about him affects every other thing. Come on. Guys, you're playing through a torn labrum and you say it doesn't matter? Are you kidding me? Ridiculous. Anyway, Joseph Salvatore says Volpe's not a major leaguer, period. Well, he is on the Yankees roster, so we're going to have to figure this out. It'd be interesting to see if they end up giving him the surgery or not, and how that shapes next season. But Steve Fontaine says, Derek, you're my favorite Yankees YouTuber. Do not tell Dan. All right, guys. I will be back after the game tonight. Hang in there. One more game to go on this homestand before the Yankees head to Boston. We'll see you after the game. If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button and subscribe. Check out NYYDesigns.shop for some great merch. Support our sponsors. It helps keep the show going. And you can find us on all major audio platforms, so be sure to subscribe there too. But most importantly, come back again soon. We'll see you next time.